Hey, it's me. I just thought I would do a video with my face from the new location. I'm still in Oklahoma. I'm on another lake, and I'll show a shot of it at the end of the video. I literally have, I had bought a selfie stick a while back and thinking that I could use it, for doing videos or whatever, but I still haven't. The microphone is about as far as I got with things. I actually have this thing propped up on a rock because I couldn't get it to sit up straight. But anyways, I'm coming to the conclusion of nearly 6 months out on the road. I have had a blast. Um, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself. Um, I've learned a lot. I mean, I lived in a house. I owned my own house and everything, but I guess until you're out in the wild, wild world, you don't realize, how easy it is to live in a house. Um, Things can go by, you know, the. Don't mind me if I'm looking around as I'm talking. I'm sorry. Um, you don't realize how easy it is. You can like forego some things sometimes when you're living in a house, but when you're living in a camper, you can't. I mean, you're constantly cleaning up after yourself because it doesn't take long for things to collect in the corners, especially when you're traveling with two dogs. And Charles sheds a lot. He may be a little dog, but he has an awful lot of hair, and I have no idea where it keeps coming from. But despite brushing him on an almost daily basis, he messes it up. But I do use a lot of paper plates because, first of all, my sink isn't very big. And second of all, I don't like doing dishes. I have a little arthritis in my hand. And believe it or not, washing dishes is one of the most painful things for me. So I do wash silverware, and that's nice because I only have to wash it every few days because I have enough to last me for a little bit. I do like using real silverware, so that's one thing that I probably won't give up. I'm trying to think of what else. It's funny. I've contemplated buying a laptop because I have my all-in-one desk computer that I bought in 2020, and it works just fine. So I'm keeping it until it craps the bed or I find a really good deal or something. But I'm trying to decide on a camera to get because I know that the quality of these aren't great. I just haven't quite decided on which setup I want to go with. And I need to find out what sort of accessories I'm going to need or what it'll fit into. And that goes back to, having hand arthritis makes things difficult for doing hands-on things, if you will. So I will get back into Missouri on Wednesday. I'll be staying with my friends for almost a month until I headed off to South Dakota. I did have a job in Montana, but I was offered a different job, and the hours are supreme. Really close to the whole cluster of like Custer, Keystone, which is Rushmore, Sturgis, Spearfish, Yellowstone, the Black Hills, the Badlands. I'm kind of I'll be up in that corner. So the hours of the establishment are 10 to 5 during the week and 10 to 4 on Sunday. And I was like, oh man, like that's just a dream because that's the only hours they're open. So I'm not going to get called in. I'm not going to be asked to work over. Sometimes they do have some goings on where they may have like added hours in the evening, but that is, few and far between. So that doesn't bother me. But, after 30 plus years working as a nurse, 40 plus years working in health care, the last thing you want to hear at the end of your shift is your replacement didn't come in. So anyways, that is, and I'm really looking forward to it. I was up in the Custer area a couple years ago when my youngest daughter Lil was working up at Custer, and it's just really pretty. I mean, the Needles Highway. It's, there's just so much to do in that area, and it's so beautiful. There's a lot of dispersed camping. The other thing I plan on doing when I get back to Missouri is unloading my truck. There are some things that I'll probably leave back. A lot of you know that I do a lot of medicinal medicine, a lot of tinctures, and when I left out, it wasn't negotiable. I was taking my plant medicine with me because that's what's made me so healthy over the last several years. But I don't need a half gallon of everything. So, Karen, if you're watching this, I'm probably going to leave it there with you. So you're going to be guarding the books and the tinctures. I'm just going to put some in some smaller jars and take those along with me. If for some reason I need something at some point, I can always have her ship it to me. But generally, I have an arsenal of herbs and tinctures and things. And when crisis happens, I'm kind of prepared. I also have, it's probably the nurse in me, an extensive first aid kit. I'm talking like braces and all kinds of stuff, things for snake bites or bug bites. Like I have it all. Fortunately, when I was in Missouri, there was a little store that was owned by some Amish people, and they would get like the Amazon returns. So I would buy stuff when I was in there, and I have a whole tote, and may seem like a waste to some people, but I know what can happen, and I know what is necessary until you get someplace. I mean, there's some places that are pretty remote. Where I'm at right now, I'd imagine it's over an hour drive to the nearest emergency room. So anyways, I'm going to pull everything out. And what I decided was I'm going to put more storage stuff in my pass-through on my rig and put all my totes in the back of my truck, and get a piece of plywood to put over top of it. And the reason for that is because I'm going to take the mattress out of my rig. I'm going to get myself just a single mattress. I'm going to take the mattress out of my rig and I'm going to put it in the back of my truck. So when I'm out in South Dakota, I can go off for a few days, disperse camping or whatever, and still have a nice, decent bed in the back. Because I have some power stations. I have another power station that's coming in. I found a deal on another one, and this will probably be it. As far as power stations, I have about 400 watts of solar. I may buy some solar panels to put on the top of my truck for traveling. I'm going back and forth with it because I really don't need the extra solar. I have 400 watts, and that's enough to charge up my power stations. for right now. I figure I'm not really going to need them right away. So, my one power station, when I boondocked, when I first started out, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this story, but I was going through Amarillo, and there was they call them a Texas travel center. And in Texas, at or safety stops, Texas safety stop, and they're a travel center, or, like a rest stop. And they have them in various areas of Texas, and they have one in Amarillo. And at these Texas safety stops, you can stay there for 24 hours. Obviously, there's no plug-ins. It's not like you can camp. You can't cook outside or anything like that, but you can stay there for 24 hours. Well, I saw there was one in Amarillo, and I thought, well, I'm going to stay there, because my first month out, I challenged myself to only find free camping. Well, it was across the street from Buc-ee's, and I thought, well, I'll go over to Buc-ee's, I'll fill up with gas, I'll run into Buc-ee's and get some of their chicken salad, and then I'll go over to the Texas rest stop. Well, I came back out of Buc-ee's, and my truck wouldn't start. And so it acted like it was the starter. I ended up having to have the truck and rig towed. It was a Friday afternoon at like 2:30, and I found a garage, but they weren't going to be able to look at it until Monday. And so I asked them, I said, well, would you mind if I stayed in my camper on your property over the weekend so that I don't have to get a hotel, because I really don't want to leave my rig just wide open. And they were like, yeah, no problem. So I tow it down there. They offered me like a power cord and everything. They were great. It was Daryl's. Oh, I can't say it. Probably shouldn't say it. I might have to edit that out. Anyways, so I stayed there, and I had my big power bank, and it was all the way charged. And I ran my computer and my Starlink off of that for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then part of Monday, I went and charged it back up. I ended up staying another day because, it wasn't my starter. It was the fuse that went from the starter to the engine. But while they were in there, I said, as long as you guys are working on the engine and down in that area, I said, can you just put on a different alternator? I need a higher powered alternator, because if I'm going to be charging power stations while I'm driving or whatever, you just want a more powerful one. I had learned that along the way. So they went ahead and put that in, and they were great. They knew I was going to be there until Tuesday, and they knew I wanted to go to Cadillac Ranch. And then they told me about this other place that's kind of like Cadillac Ranch, but it's right there in town and whatever. But so they even offered to let me borrow a vehicle. But I turned them down. It was great that they offered it, but I didn't want to take someone else's vehicle and possibly have an accident or something and then feel responsible. So, but Monday, they got done with my truck, and there was something wrong with something happened to my hitch, and they were calling to get a part to fix it. And so while they were doing that, I jumped in my truck, to give it a test run too. I ran down to Cadillac Ranch on the bucket list. So I went there, and, anyways, getting back, so that was a learning experience right out of the gate for me, on some of the things that you need and don't need. But getting back to the power stations, I had a first good run with it, and computers take a lot of electricity, so I didn't think that was bad. I did have electricity left over. I charged it back up. I was down to like 20% or something like that, and I just went and charged it back up. But it lasted. And I do have a 12-volt system with some batteries. It was a little windy. It was kind of cool, but because my furnace runs off a 12-volt, I was actually able to run my furnace because it was pretty cold. But anyways, this is getting a little long, and I just wanted to give a little bit of an update and show my face. I had a couple people text me and tell me that it wasn't fair that I wasn't turning the camera around. So, but like I said, I'm still in Oklahoma. I'm going to be here at this location for 2 days. I don't like to give out my location because I do have, public YouTube and just for security purposes. But the last location I was at was Hugo Lake, Virgil Point. It was in Hugo, Oklahoma. Very, very nice campground. It's an Army Corps of Engineer campground. They have water and electric. They have a dump station. And the other thing that I saw was if you want to go in and just use their dump station, it's $3. I have a Army Corps of Engineers. I have a America the Beautiful pass, so I can actually go in and just dump because I'm able to access those parks with my pass. So that's really nice. But I'm really enjoying my America the Beautiful pass. I plan on using it a lot. Because these campgrounds are really inexpensive. Like this campsite, I think was $18 a night, and that's great for electric and water. So, anyways, I hope everybody is having a fantastic day, fantastic week. I will do some videos while I'm home, in between my running around and getting everything done. And subscribe, like my videos, please. And if you hit the bell, it will notify you when I put a video up. So anyways, we'll talk to you later. Bye.